Hi guys, welcome back to the Lit Life, where we talk about everything lifestyle and literature. It is another episode of the Graduate School Series, and y'all, when I say I have filmed this video so many times, but my rambling has prohibited me from having any footage that is good enough to edit. So I'm just gonna thug it out and freestyle it because I feel like I was taking myself way too seriously, and I was like falling asleep the first couple times I edited this video, which is strange because it's supposed to be fun. So let's talk about what I loved about graduate school. The number one thing I loved about graduate school was all the adventures I got to go on, due to me relocating to a place that I was unfamiliar with. So I moved from Little Rock, Arkansas to the capital region of New York, Albany, Rensselaer, Troy, New York, for graduate school. And because of that, I got to go to New York City a bunch of times. I got to see some of the popular spots from my favorite TV shows while I was in New York. Even when I was living in Rensselaer, New York, I got to see the bridge that Angelina Jolie jumped from the helicopter into the Hudson River, like over in the movie Salt. I got to go to Maine and go boogie boarding in the Atlantic Ocean. I got to have some seafood that changed my life in Maine. I got to go to Saratoga and bet on horses at the racetrack and pretend like I was in Pretty Woman, minus the prostitution part. Shout out to you if you old enough to get that Pretty Woman reference. Let's see what else. I got to go to Long Island multiple times because one of my good friends was from Long Island, and then my lab mate had her wedding on Long Island as well. Beautiful, beautiful experience. I also got to go to my friend Brittany's hometown. I cannot remember the name of her hometown anymore, but I just remember it being such a cute, quaint, very charming, full of character, a lot of like old bridges and like flash dance looking kind of scenery, and I really enjoyed that. I love to travel and I love to experience places that I've never experienced before, and so that was definitely a highlight for me. The next thing I'm gonna highlight is the diversity, the culture and diversity at SUNY Albany. And that may not be unique to graduate school. Actually, if you went to a predominantly white institution, or PWI for undergrad, you probably also experienced this kind of melting pot diversity. But because I went to a HBCU, and we already talked about how I grew up, I didn't have a ton of diverse experiences under my belt. And so being in such a diverse place for graduate school, I think it strengthened my character, and it definitely was a good culture-rich training ground for me to endure and experience before starting my career. I am in sales now, and I'm around people that are nothing like me 99.999% of the time, and so I needed to be able to gain experience interacting with people that are different from me. I needed to be able to gain experience hearing alternative political views than mine. I also needed to be a little more familiar with the cultural practices of other people so as not to offend anyone in my daily life now as an adult, where I'm surrounded by people that are different, and it was just a really invaluable experience. The next thing on the list, which I'll kind of tie into the culture and diversity part, is I got to befriend people that were nothing like me. And I think having friends that don't necessarily connect with me right off the bat, or with things that like meet the eye, I feel like has made my life much better and made me a more well-rounded person. I don't think it's healthy to be surrounded by people that agree with you all the time, people that are just like you all the time. I think it's a sign that your character is pretty weak. That's just my opinion. And so, because character is something that I value in a person and in the people that I have around me, I think diversity has to be a part of that. So, it's made me a better person and a better employee. I think it'll also make me a better businesswoman going forward as well. And then the next thing I want to reference as one of my favorite parts of graduate school is Troy Kitchen. And so if you've seen my first 2 videos on graduate school, you know how I feel about Troy Kitchen. It was the place where I started writing again. So when I was in high school, I actually originally wanted to be a professional writer. I wanted to write books of poetry, short stories, things like that. And I had a shoebox full of like material. And because I was having a hard time in high school English, I started to believe that I could never be a good writer. And eventually I ended up throwing my shoebox away. And I didn't pick up another pen outside of educational purposes until I found Troy Kitchen and until I started going to open mic every Monday. And that was the place that really gave me a platform to explore my voice as a writer, period. And that was the first place I, started to gain my confidence back, being in front of people doing poetry, because art is subjective. And when I was in high school, it didn't seem that way. It seemed like either I agreed with the teacher or I got an F. And that was just all wrong. That wasn't how it should have been. And so Troy Kitchen, like I said, was the first place that made it okay for me to think differently about things, to feel differently about things, to write about the same story or interaction in a completely different way, and for that to be validated and celebrated. And so hopefully that makes sense, but that's another reason why I appreciate graduate school, for the discovery or rediscovery of myself. So hopefully that makes sense. It's also very late, guys, when I'm filming this and editing as well. So I feel like I'm getting my little, taste of YouTuber frustration, because your girl has filmed this video plenty of times, if I didn't already say that. So, but anyways, I digress because I'm getting off topic again. My 5th reason that I loved graduate school was because of the money. So, when you complete an advanced degree, it gives you more bargaining power when you enter the workforce in terms of what you get as a salary. And I believe that this is the case in most circumstances, that if you have a master's degree, you would, probably get offered a little more money than someone with a bachelor's degree. And someone with a PhD would probably get offered more money, than the master's and the bachelor's degree. I think that's just kind of how it goes. I will say, though, that experience beats education most times. Probably not 100% of the time or 90% of the time, but I would say over 80, maybe between 85 and 90% of the time, experience beats education. So I don't want you to think that, oh, I got a master's degree, I'm going to get $1 million more. That it's not that deep. That's not the case. But you will get more bargaining power in terms of what your starting salary will be when you first enter the workforce versus someone who's entering the workforce straight out of undergraduate. So hopefully these things I just talked about will be a little more encouraging than everything else I've already talked about as it relates to graduate school. I'm trying to think if I got like a cool story I could tell y'all, but most of my memories, guys, I'll probably never share on camera. The best memories I'll never share on camera because probably a little too crazy, but I did get to boogie board in the Atlantic, if I didn't say that in the beginning of the video. And that was a huge leap of faith for me, first of all, because I can like doggy paddle and like, you know, survive some, but I'm not a great swimmer. So being in the ocean, playing games on a board is like usually not my thing. But hey, you know, you live, you learn, YOLO. Like I was doing it. I was out there doing it. So it was decent. And when you boogie board, like you don't have to go really deep into the water. So it ended up being a good time. Let's see what else. I did win a little money at the racetrack in Saratoga. Okay, guys, so brief intermission because I just realized while I was watching the footage back that I didn't name anything about graduate school that I loved that had to do with the actual education. And I'm absolutely a nerd. So I really liked working in the lab. I liked that I could keep human cells alive apart from the human body. That part absolutely fascinated me. Watching the cells multiply and grow absolutely fascinated me. And maybe I'll talk about this in a different video. I actually studied different genetic mutations that cause dementia and other tauopathies in the brain. And so I got to see how the cells respond to different genetic mutations and basically watch them die the same way they die inside of the human brain. And so I really did enjoy that part. I don't know why I didn't mention that. I don't know if I was just tired, but yes, the science part was very thrilling, very exciting, and I loved it. I especially loved when they signed my papers, my freedom papers, when I defended my thesis and gave me the green light to go ahead and move on with my life. So yes, I just wanted to include this quick clip. Now back to the video. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video more than the last ones. This one's going to be super quick, like I said, just a sit down chit chat video about what I loved about it. I'm trying to think if I left anything out. No, I don't think I left anything out. I do think I need to hurry up and, well, not hurry up, but I do think I need to finally put out a poem on my channel because I feel like I've been telling y'all that I write poetry for like the last who knows how many videos and y'all still ain't heard a poem. So I'm just going to plan for my next video to be a poem. But in the meantime, if you know someone who could benefit from this graduate school series, whether it be this video or the previous 2 videos on how I survived graduate school, and the things that they don't tell you about going from a HBCU to a PWI, be sure to share it. Also like this video, leave me a comment or a question, and make sure you're subscribed and you hit the notification bell so that you never miss an upload. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next installation of the graduate school series. I plan on the next part of the series being dedicated to how I paid for undergraduate and how I paid for graduate school as well. I don't know. I was tired before I turned the camera on, but now I feel like I'm like waking up a little. I don't know. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I will see you next time. Bye.